It's a new month, which basically doesn't mean anything besides we've got more crazy indie MMA highlights and knockouts coming your way. And this week was special because the amount of one-shot KOs almost took all of the spots, and we've also got an event that we've featured before, but if you missed that previous episode, we're bringing it back to the old school Vale Tudo rules. Oh yeah, that means soccer kicks and basically everything else is legal. And we have a KO of the week that is just pure beauty. But before we get going, here is our featured fan comment of the week from Chase Falconer, who, in my opinion, made this brilliant meme about a KO last week, comparing it to the Askren Jorge KO, but still giving props to the knee KO last week because I agree, that one was clean and definitely deserves some recognition. But props to you, Chase, for making me laugh and leaving this comment.
What's going on, everyone? It's the Casual, Lawton Veerkant, and this is Caposa's Corner.
Kicking us off this week, we're heading to Angels Fighting Championship 19 in South Korea for 2 fights. For the first, we have a bantamweight matchup that sees So-Gyu Tae with just a 1-1 record, and his opponent, Lee Jin Young, is just making his pro debut. So this one actually made some rounds on social media, as Caposa pointed out, and you'll see exactly why very soon because his whole fight only lasts 15 seconds. Well, at least that wasn't the crack of a bone snapping. Instead, it was just the crack of this huge single head kick that just sends him down and is topped off with the walk-off. It literally throws him backwards, then forwards, and then back down when he hits the canvas. Absolutely brutal. But these are my favorite KOs, so I'm personally happy, and I'm sure Young is too, since this secures him his first pro win and improves his record to 1-0. For our second fight at Angels Fighting Championship 19, we have a flyweight matchup between Park Min Jae with an 0-4-1 record, but he did have a 5-1 amateur record, and he's taking on Ju Dong-jo, who has a 3-0 pro record. Here's one of those ones where I'm curious as to what the matchmakers were thinking. A 4-fight losing streak against a 3-fight winning streak doesn't quite seem to add up, but they didn't ask me, and the violence commences.
Leg kick.
Yeah, another quick one. Just 20 seconds in, Joe throws this huge right that, just like the last fight, absolutely collapses his opponent and knocked him so far out, look at his toes curling. But we are happy to report that just about a minute after this, he did come to, and with the help of his team and some staff, was able to walk out of the cage. But a fantastic highlight from Joe as he secures his first round knockout and improves his record to 4-0. Now we're gonna go take a look at the Imaf 2022 Africa Championships, where we have one fight. Here we have a middleweight bout that has Elise Belepe with a 2-1 record, and he's up against Garcia Kinkela, who has just a 1-0 record. This was actually another one this week that stood out to me because it's just one of those things you don't see very often in MMA, and as we are nearing the final seconds of the first round, well, someone's about to get some airtime.
You get the fixer, and the punches do. Is he going to get the takedown? And he gets the beautiful takedown.
Yep, everyone make sure you fasten your seatbelts when you travel on the Belepe airline. Absolutely savage slam KO, and it was at the actual buzzer. No, really, the fight was deemed a KO on the 3rd minute of 3 in the first round. And the 2 hammer fists probably weren't needed, but they added to Belepe securing this win in spectacular fashion and improving his record to 3-1. Next up, we're heading to Vota 5 in Poland, and this was actually held in the Gdansk Shakespeare Theater, hence the pretty sick setup they have here. But here we have a light heavyweight matchup between Dominik Oshani, who just has a 1-3 record, and he's up against Jakub Ozga, who has a 3-0 record. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, they're fighting in a pit, and this is the event that goes by the old school Vale Tudo rules, which, you know what that means. Well, basically it means everything is legal. Headbutts, grounded knees, soccer kicks, all of it. But back to the fight. So this one is funny because not once, but twice we see Oshani fall out of the pit, but once he regains his composure and gets his opponent down, well, he does this. Yeah, yeah, there were a couple grounded knees, an onslaught of hammer fists, a soccer kick to really do some damage, and then some more ground and pound that forces the ref to step in, and this one is over. This wasn't the most insane knockout, but this event has been featured on this show before, and we just couldn't pass on it because it's just truly an old school style of fighting that everyone needs to see at least once. But O'Shawney does secure this win in just under 3 minutes of the fight and improves his record to 2-3. Now we're gonna go pay a visit to Jungle Fight 107 in Brazil, where it is time to talk about Caposa's prospect of the week. Here we have a featherweight fight between Thiago Nova, sitting at a 5-0 record, and he's taking on Marcio Tikotu, our prospect of the week, and who has a very nice 11-1 record. So like normal, we're gonna show this fight first and then discuss why he gets our title this week, but with just 2 minutes left in the first round, Marcio gets his huge knockdown, but for some reason once it stood back up, I wonder why he would do that.
Guilhotino Márcio vai tentando sair dali o Thiago, situação difícil, complicada. O Márcio vai tentando bateu, é fim de luta.
Well, here I was thinking he was about to knock the shit out of him, but nope, he decides to lock in this guillotine, and once they go to the ground, he has no choice but to tap, and this fight is over. So now he has a 12-1 record, is only 23 years old, and his only loss was just 2 fights ago, but it seems like every time he fights, he's either displaying solid takedown defense and submissions like he did in this one, or he's getting highlight reel knockouts like many of his previous fights. I mean, his past 3 wins before this one were all KO TKOs in the first round, 2 of them being within the first minute. Dude's just an absolute monster, and it isn't uncommon for fighters in this promotion to be seen by the higher ups, so we can only assume that the time for Marcio is much sooner rather than later, but until then, congrats on yet another amazing win, and we sure hope to see some more like this year. Off to go visit Ultimate Warrior Challenge 33 in Mexico, where we have 2 fights. For the first, we have a featherweight matchup between Walter Reyes with a 5-1 record, and he's up against Aaron Cañarte, who has an 8-0 record. We did really good this week about staying true to first round knockouts, and just under 2 minutes in, Cañarte drops Reyes to the canvas, and well, then he decides to put a stop to this one.
That was a beautiful punch. Oh my God! This is over. Cañarte by knockout.
Yeah, so on the stand-up, he lands 2 uppercuts and then puts a stamp on it with this huge left hook that just flatlines his opponent. Caposa did note that Cañarte is another impressive prospect to keep your eyes on, but as far as earning our Prospect of the Week award, we decided his opponents weren't quite on the same level as Marcio's were, but we don't mean that as a knock because 9-0 is impressive no matter what, and this is a name we wouldn't be surprised to see on something like the Contender Series this year. For our second fight at Ultimate Warrior Challenge 33, we have the co-main featherweight title fight that has Jesus Ramos, the challenger who has an 11-6 record, and he's up against defending champion Luis Meiraz, who has a 6-1 record, and this is his first title defense. So we're gonna start by looking at the second round, where with not even a minute left, Ramos drops Meiraz with this huge left, but he does end up surviving. So now we fast forward to the 4th round, and once we go back to the ground in this round, what do you think? Will it be and new or and still?
What's going on right here? Oh my God!
I suppose that answers the question. Meiraz sneaks in this clean Von Flue choke, and after just 15 seconds, his opponent has no choice but to tap, and this one is over. This was a highly entertaining title match because it basically was back and forth for all 4 rounds, but ultimately Meiraz does secure the win, improves his record to 7-1, and he is still your Ultimate Warrior Challenge featherweight champion. Now we're gonna go take a look at Combate Global in Florida, where we have 1 fight, and it is time for Caposa's hand-picked submission of the week. Here we have the lightweight main event that sees Ivan Castillo, who has a wow 22-13 record. That is quite a few fights. And he's taking on Claudio Quintana, who has an 8-4 record, but is on a 5-fight win streak. And fun, weird fact about this one, Quintana actually came to Combate last week to help corner his teammate in this fight, and when that teammate pulled out for undisclosed reasons, Quintana took the lead and stepped up to challenge him. So, taking this on literal days' notice and against an opponent that has almost 3 times the amount of fights as you is a pretty daunting task. So, let's see how he holds his ground in this one.
Lo dices bien. Tomó esta pelea con muy poco tiempo. ¡Ay!
¿Cómo está? Perdóname, Casinelli, ¿cómo está?
Now, before you ask, why did we choose this as the sub of the week and not the Von Flue? And the answer is simple. Did you see how clean that transition was? Yes, armbars aren't exactly rare, but he had his opponent literally fully wrapped with his legs and basically from a hybrid bottom side position, and in one swift motion completely flips the script around and secures this armbar, and after one barrel roll, he has no choice but to tap, and this fight is over. Along with the precision of this sub, the fact he took this fight on days notice and basically dominated all 6.5 minutes of it, and he finished with the slick armbar, yeah, that's why this wins our sub of the week, and congrats again to Quintana on improving his record to 9-4 and landing this 6th submission. Up next, we're heading to Fight League Atlantic 3 in Canada for one fight, and now it is time for everyone's favorite, Caposa's KO of the week. This is rare for our KOs of the week, but this one has limited footage, so you know the drill. Take a look, and then we'll talk.
Comfortable in a standing position.
Yeah.
Yeah, a spinning wheel kick that sounded like the wood blocks clapping, but nope, that was just his face. And that's Dylan Shepard, our winner this week, who is making his amateur debut, and he secures his first win in incredible fashion. And our poor gentleman who ate that spinning wheel kick, well, that's Dawson Sampson, who is also making his amateur debut and unfortunately had about the worst luck ever stepping into this cage. We wish we had more than these two angles to show you, but as always, this one was just too good, so we couldn't leave it out this week. And again, congrats to Dylan on this amazing highlight reel and for landing his first amateur win. And for our last fight this week, we're heading to Battlefield Fight League 72, also in Canada, for one fight. This is a catchweight bout at 150 pounds that sees Sheldon Nicodemus with just a 1-0 record, and his opponent, Melvin Panjaniban, also has a 1-0 record. Not that I'll ever do it, cause I'm a bit but I do understand that every fighter has to start somewhere, but I would strongly advise against rushing forward towards an opponent with your arms down and chin out, especially while they're swinging, because that just doesn't seem like it's gonna end very well for you.
And Nick, big knockout! Face! Melvin.
Oh, look at that. Turns out that did not end very well for him. With this whole fight only lasting 25 seconds, Panjaniban landed multiple hooks as his opponent just kept rushing forward, but it wasn't until this final right hook that just absolutely flatlines him and sends him down to the canvas. The expression, protect yourself at all times, really is some solid advice for any fighter, because this is what happens when you don't protect yourself at all. But Panjaniban secures this win quickly into the first round and keeps his record clean at 2-0. It is a new month, which means a new voting cycle is beginning today, so make sure you stay tuned over the next 4 weeks, and by the end of the month, don't forget to cast your votes in the comments for your favorite picks for top KO, sub, and prospect of the month. And although April only had 2 weeks, according to the comments, it was clear that week 2 won across all categories, which was the insane flying knee knockout, that sneaky ninja choke submission win, and our prospect Sebastian Sherbish. So congratulations again to all of these fighters, and we hope to see some more from you guys in the future. And as always, these videos are just simply not possible without the help of Caposa, so please show him some support by giving him a follow on his Twitter at Grabaka_Hitman, and you can also support him by checking out his Patreon at patreon.com/Caposa. And we want to say a huge thank you to all of these amazing organizations for hosting these events year-round, and to the fighters, winners, and losers, and we will see you all in the next video.